secure in this life. No, I won't strive. Sometimes my days was cloudy, but I kept my faith in the Most High. So much pain and struggle and frustration I've seen with these eyes. So how could I tell me that I wouldn't rise when it really meant that the fire is burning inside me? Only Jah know how much I've sacrificed. Fire one place on me and never rise. Can't pull me and blazing. What's the proof you're real? 'Cause I'm so amazing. They can't stop me now. But tell them I'm blazing. From the sun come up till the sun go down. So amazing. You wish me I couldn't raise.
Well, let me take this opportunity to say welcome and thank you so much, guys. It's Right Along for today. Of course, it's a beautiful Monday. Yeah, it's a Monday. And I have a lot of apologies to start off with. We're about 5 minutes late. And that's because we had some little technical glitches. Sometimes things is running smooth as ever. But just take one little thing to slow you down, right? So that's why we're a little bit late. But we thank you guys for being a part of the program. Thank you guys for being already on the live, getting ready to enjoy Right Along for today. Let me make sure everyone is hearing us. Let me make sure, yes, audio, yes. Let me, guys, if you, I think we're echoing. I think we have an echo. I think everyone's saying we have an echo. We're fixing the live, guys. Thank you so much. If you're hearing us, if you're not hearing us properly, just let us know. We're broadcasting live. It's Right Along, so we're fixing the audio and tweaking the audio. Let us know, guys.
Thank you so much.
Let me see. Make sure that we're live there. I'm echoing. Am I still echoing? Yeah, I think I'm still echoing. Guys, we're fixing the audio. Stay with us as we continue to fix the broadcast audio here. Am I still echoing? Right. Okay. Thank you guys once again. Okay, so as I said in the early part, it's always some technical glitches sometimes when you go in live. It's live television. If you're still having an echo, let me know so I can attempt to fix the broadcast. Are we still having an echo? All right. Okay, I'm gonna fix that. Guys. Let me get it. I know what's happening. Fix that echo. All right. I think we're good now. Let me know if we're still echoing, guys. And share the program. Okay, so the echo is gone. Good to go. All right. So let's start over again. Welcome to Right Along for today. It's a beautiful Monday, and it's a very hot day. It's been a very hectic day for us all as we prepare to make our way to London for Notting Hill Carnival. So the half of the crew is still in Grenada, half of the crew is here in New York, and the other half of the crew is heading away to London. This is going to be the eve of our London broadcast, because after this program we're going to be heading to London and checking out all that's happening over there. So you know what you have to do, guys, at this point is your opportunity to share the program. Share the program right now and let me know where you're from. I share. That's what you got to do. Just I share the program and let us know where you're chiming in from. I see Gail. Yeah, thank you, Gail. Yes, I see you. Also Desmond Julian, thank you so much. Just I share, guys. I share. Patsy James, thank you so much for watching all the way in Florida. Echo, that's a good name. 2000. Yes. Betty Ann Wells, thank you so much. Share the program as well. Alicia Licorice, big up yourself. Patsy, guys, let me know if you're hearing us live, if you're hearing us properly on the live. Lydia James in Canada, thank you so much as well. Joanne Padilla, I hope I'm getting that right. Padilla, thank you so much. Katisha Radim, thank you so much. Colleen Thomas Patterson, thank you so much. Remember, guys, share the program, because probably one of your friends did not get the notification. And it's important because the story that we're going to be telling today is a story of strength, as we're going to be speaking to this young lady. And on the pre-interview after I spoke to her, she just exemplified what a strong person is. She's a very, very strong person, and she's here to tell her story to us here. But before we get to her, I gotta make sure that we get everyone in the chat room. Deanne Richards, how you doing, Deanne? Big up yourself. Love Me Shiddick, how you doing? Yes. Christian, I see you. Yes. Amanda, big up yourself. Joanne, big up yourself. Amanda, yes. Okay, Katisha. All right, let me start with the program, guys. Now, it was over about 2 weeks that my producer have been quoting this next guest. And as I said from the top, she exemplified strength. And today we are so happy to have her on the program to share her story with us. She is right now in Trinidad. Her name is Miss Asha, and we're gonna go straight into it because I think that we may have to go over time to hear the length and depth of her story because it's a very sad one, and it is one that we've been talking about for a long time, and it deals with abuse, child abuse, domestic abuse, and the parents and the action or non-action by parents. So we'd like to welcome on the program right now, Asha. Welcome to the program. It's Right Along. Asha, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you, Asha. So guys, this is Asha. Asha, tell the folks your full government name that we will address you by.
My name is Asha Mahabir.
Yes.
That's my maiden name, and I'm married now, so my name is Asha Samru. But I still go by Asha Mahabir because I haven't changed to my married name.
Okay, thank you so much. Guys, if everyone is hearing Asha, right, okay, good. So we're seeing you well. Everyone is hearing us well. We want to make sure that everyone is checking in and everyone is seeing us. Yeah, okay, good to go. So Asha, first of all, welcome to the program. As I said earlier that it's been over 2 weeks that we've been really quoting you. After we saw your first video, it really sparked a nerve in a lot of people, which prompted our producer to contact you. Asha, tell us a little bit about your early growing up, your early young Asha.
Well, George, I was my brother and I. It was my brother and I.
Yes.
My mom separated from my dad when I was just 2 years old.
Yeah.
Then she left me with my grandparents to live.
Yes.
Went her way. I don't know wherever she went. My grandmother told me that when I was a little older, probably around 3 years old, my grandmother said she left me on the street a carnival Tuesday and left. And the cops found me and took me to the police station. And my grandmother went to the police station and said, "That's my grandchild." So I started living with my grandmother since the age of 2.5 to 3 years old.
Yeah.
While I was living with my grandmother, it was my grandmother, my grandfather, my mother brothers, my mother's sisters. We all lived in one house. And, I can remember, I don't remember when I was much younger, but I remember when I was like 6 years old.
Yes.
My mother, 2 brothers. She had 2 of her rest of brothers. I think she had like 4 brothers, but 2 of them would sexually molest me. I remember they taking me to the back room, not at the same time with each other.
Right.
One at a time. And they would, I was 6 years old, and they would take my underwear off and take their hands and put it up in me, and then to take their mouth, go down on me.
And who was those? Those were your uncles?
My uncles, my mother, 2 brothers.
And how old were you at that time?
I was 6 years old. I didn't tell my grandparents because I was scared. I thought I did something wrong.
Right.
I thought I would get licks. They would tell me if I told, I would get licks. And back then, your grandparents spank you, so you thought you did something wrong. So you wouldn't tell. But growing up now, my mother would come back and forth and visit me and my brother at my grandparents' house. And I would tell her I don't like it here. I want to go with you. And she would not take me with her. I endured that for quite some time. And then eventually she came for me one day.
That's your grandmother or your mother?
My mother came to me.
Okay.
And she took me to her apartment.
Uh-huh.
Where she lives. She was dating a man, and she was friendly with the man, and she would send me to walk around the savannah with him in the fields, the football field and stuff. She'd say, go take a walk with him, go take a walk with him. And this one particular day, he took me to his house because he was not living too far from where my mother's apartment was.
Yes.
And he took me to his house, and he had this little sponge laying on the floor.
Uh-huh.
I was around 7, and I remember Fall Guy. I don't know if anybody remember that movie. It was a TV show called Fall Guy.
Yeah.
It was going on TV, and I remember that. I remember that show was going on. And he took my jeans off, my little jeans, and started molesting me. And then he put me up on the sink, the kitchen sink, and shoved his hand up on me and washed me off and tell me not to tell my mother, and he gave me a handful of coins.
Yeah.
I didn't tell my mother, but I hated her. I didn't want to be with her because I left one situation and went into another. She took me and she dropped me back by my grandmother. She never came to look for me again until I was 9. And all this time, I had to be putting up with their fondling me, touching me in places that I wasn't supposed to be touched as a child. And all this time, I'm thinking I did something wrong. I'm sorry, George.
No, that's fine. I know that incidents of this type of abuse is very, very touching, and as we prompted people from the start, this would be an emotional one. You endure so much. Did anyone, at the initial incident with your uncles, did anyone step up for you?
No. I lived with that secret for years until I got married to my second husband, and I told my mother. I've been telling her for years, and she keeps denying me. I am 43 years, George, and I needed her to hear. I needed her to listen, and I needed her to stand with me and believe me that I couldn't live with this anymore. And she just wouldn't, and I don't know why she wouldn't. He hasn't contacted me. He hasn't spoken to me since I made the video and I told the world what they did to me. I just don't know what is wrong with her.
Guys, you're watching Right Along, and as I said from the top, this is an emotional one, and we hear the stories and them too often, very often. Somewhat of neglect, and as we saw with other stories that we've seen here, it just seemed like the parents is not there, or absent, or not listening to the cry of the kid. Take us, if you could, did you have any other family member that you could have gone to, that you could have confided in?
I had no one, George. I had no one. I did not even know my dad, because when she left my dad, I never saw my dad again until I was the age 27. Then I built a relationship with my father. He was the only person I told. And he said he was sorry that he was never there to protect me, but he was the first person I told at the age 27. but I had no one I could tell. Um, when I was going to school, I mentioned it to one of my school friends, and she in turn told the teacher, and the teacher called me and asked me, and I begged her not to tell my mother because I would get licked. She did tell my mother
who would
that
have
I'm making allegations.
Asha, who would have beaten you? Your mom, if she found out that this happened to you?
Yeah, she beat me and she told me I lied. My mother. I told her after many years. I was about 16 when I told her the first time. And she stopped me from school. She said I lied and I wanted to take the bread from her mouth. And why am I making up stories? And I don't need to go to school. A man will take care of me. I have to wash a man's clothes and cook for him, and I don't need to get an education. That was her words.
I should tell. Why do you think that at such an early age you were the one that was abused like that?
George, it wasn't me alone, it was my mother's last sister too. She went through the same thing by her brother, which is my uncle's. But when I first said it to them, she came out and she said she thought it was her alone.
Yeah.
But she never spoke of it again because everybody dismissed it. So I wasn't the first and I wasn't the only one. Because she's probably maybe about 7 or 8 years older than I.
Yes.
So they used to interfere with her too. But she's married now. And when she speak out also, they said, everybody said she's lying and I'm lying. But, it's not easy to live with because you tell yourself you forget or you choose not to remember. But you don't ever forget. It's always there. It never leaves you. It's a constant reminder. Why did I do something? Why did I fight back or say something? Why did I blame me and say, why did I allow them to do that? But I was a child and I couldn't do anything. I realized I couldn't do anything. I could not do anything to help myself. And this took advantage of my innocence.
Folks, you're watching Right Along, and it's one of those sad stories. It's one of those touching stories that makes your heart, skip a beat. We're talking with Asha. She's currently in Trinidad, currently reside in Texas, and her abuse is just so real. She been through so much pain, and she have to constantly relieve those moments. Has there ever been a point in time that you confronted your mother about all of this that happened, and what was her reaction?
I did confront her, but I didn't confront her until after I was married because I was scared. And I said, when I first told you, you never believed me. Why don't you believe me? She said to me, those are my brothers and I'm never going to believe you or anyone over my brothers. I confronted her in front of my stepfather, and my stepfather said to her, your daughter is talking to you, why don't you listen to what she's saying to you? And she started cursing in an ignorant way, and She just left. And every year I visit Trinidad, every year I tell her, and she still denies me. I don't know what I'm looking for, and I don't know if it's called an apology or closure, but they would not give that to me, and she denies me of it all the time. Every year for the rest of my life, every time I visit Trinidad, I confront her, I ask her. I bought a ticket for her to come to Texas, and I confronted her again. She said, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. Change my date and my ticket. I want to go home. She just would not admit it. She just would not say, okay, I believe you. I'm sorry you had to go through that. She just wouldn't do it, and I don't know why.
We have someone here. I'm also watching the chat room, guys. So feel free to post your comments, your questions, and I'll try to catch on to it and ask Asha here. Asha, we have someone here that's saying, and I know you dealt with that question in your previous video that you did.
George, you would see there's someone on your news feed called Tilak Ram Kisun. That's my uncle. That's commenting on your page. The nasty remarks he's making right now. That's one of them. He lives in New York. Tilak Ram Kisun. He's commenting on your page right now.
Yes.
On this live video.
Yes.
That's my uncle. That's one of my uncles. That's one of his fake profiles that he has.
So let me ask you a question. Is your uncles or your family denying the fact that this happened to you?
Yes, sir. He says that I'm lying on him. My other brother, the one that lives here in Trinidad, is not saying anything. He has been quiet since. My mother has been quiet since. But this other one that lives in New York has been tormenting me via Facebook private messages, via my daughter. He's messaging my daughter. My daughter had to put him in his place. He just would not stop, and he would not even come forward because he knows the law cannot touch him because the time frame has gone. The statute of limitation is gone where I cannot press charges legally. And because I shame him, he tries to discredit me all over the place by saying nasty and dirty things.
Let me just put a disclaimer here, because everything that we're saying here was not found to be factual. Well, no one was found guilty in this case. So everything that we're saying, we have to put the allegedly happened. So just for any legal implication, that is necessary that we do that. My question is, why would your family go through all of that to then come back and deny the fact that it actually happened, allegedly happened?
For years, as I've been saying to you, George, I've been saying to my mother, my sister can tell you that. I always say it every time I visit the Trinidad, every time I'm close to my mother, I say it to her, I need you to tell your brothers, remind them what they did to me. And she keeps denying me. So on this one occasion now, this uncle of mine, the one that lives in New York, he came to visit to Trinidad. That's 2 weeks ago when I made the video.
Yes.
And I confronted my mother again, and I said to my mother, when are you going to tell your brother what he did to me? She went across and she said to him, oh, Asha starts with her lies and her manipulation again. And he got all upset that I was accusing him again. He said, I'm accusing him again. And he decided to write up a post, a whole bunch of dirty, nasty things about me. And I said, you can't do this. You can't. I just ask you guys to admit what you do, and you would not admit. Why wouldn't you admit what you did to me when I was a child? And he just went on, and I decided, listen, I've had enough of this. I am going to tell the world what they did to me. And they did not like that. That did not sit nicely with them at all.
What are some of the things, what prompted you to go public with this story after so many years?
Because when I told my mother to tell him when he was here, They denied it again, and then he made a post about my husband and my children. George, don't go there with my children. Don't. I do not allow anyone to degrade my children. And he crossed that line when he degraded my children. He already degraded me. He took my innocence away when I was a child. So do not. I will not allow them to cross that line with my children. And that's when I decide he has to be shamed and stopped for what they have been doing.
What did you do?
I made a video and I posted my video and I talked about my abuse, my sexual abuse, molestation that I've been through with my mother brothers. And they did not like that. He made threats to me. I did make a report to the police station that I'm lying and he's going to get me, and I hope I can handle it when the hammer falls. And he says all sorts of different things like that. But I don't care, George. You know why? I would stand up any day in the lower court. I'm willing to take a lie detector test. Is he willing to take one? Are they willing to take one? And I'm willing to tell the world what they did to me. Because I am no longer going to be manipulated and scared of what they did to me and made me feel like I did something wrong. And they're still doing it. They're still trying to make me feel I'm lying and doing something wrong. I'm 43 years old. What would I gain from lying? I have a beautiful family. They have no money. What can I sue them for? Nothing. They have nothing that I want. I want my peace of mind back. I want me back, what they have done to me. And they need to stop what they're doing to me. Because they just would not come forward and speak the truth.
Tell us about the accusation that was made about your children, or what was done to your children. I know you made mention of it as well. And also
he posted stuff about my husband and my two smaller children. One is 8 and one is 7. No, sorry, one is 12 and one is 7. And he said my two children are stupid and he can make my husband lose his job, and that I'm lying on him, and that my elder daughter, you know, the typical bacchanal thing about my daughter, I beat her with a hammer and I got arrested in Texas. He started posting things like that. He posted my mugshot. I was arrested, George, in Texas. My daughter, my eldest daughter, accused me of beating her with a hammer. My case was dismissed. My name was cleared. So when I spoke about my abuse, my uncle went and paid for my mugshot via mugshot.com and posted it with my children and started talking about my family. And I said in turn, damn, I look good in orange. And I brushed him off. But then the next morning, when I got up, he wrote a long letter about my husband and my children. And I said, I inboxed him and I said, you stay away from my family. You and I have to deal with this, what you did to me, and you do not bring my children into this. And that's when he started getting all riled up. But the other one who molested me, he's staying quiet. He's not saying anything. My mother too is staying quiet, but this one thinks he's untouchable. He thinks that he's untouchable in New York. So he does and says whatever he wants, not only to me, George. I can give you names of many women he has been very nasty and rude to. And they all have, since blocked him. He is, I don't know if he's sick in his head.
So
I don't know.
Brenda is asking, why is he so invested in discrediting you?
Because I told on him. I told him. I told what he did to me. And that is why he's doing that.
Okay, Ramkisoon is proposing to send me the personal messages that some personal messages that you sent to him or that was sent back and forth. He's in the chat room talking about it. Is there any way, from your point of view, and I have to ask this question,
yes,
that he has any validity to what he's saying? Is there any validity to he standing up and trying to defend this so much?
Well, he can say, in Trinidad, we say a fisherman will never say his fish is rotten, right? And George, let me tell you something. I invited this man into my home in Texas when my mother was visiting because she wanted her brother there. And I thought it was the great opportunity where I would be able to confront both of them. I invited a pedophile in my house with my children, but I did put my children to sit down and I did speak to my children and tell them to be very careful. I showed my family love, my uncles, all of them. I would hug them, I would take pictures because I wanted to see, George, if they remembered what they did to me. But they thought that I forgot.
Right.
That's why they thought, I don't know if they think that because I forgot, everything is okay. I love them. I'm not saying I never loved them, but they hurt me as a child growing up. And my mother knew. My mother knew what they did all along, even though I invited him in my home in Texas, even though I hugged him, I took pictures, even I tell him I love them, because I would write nice posts and I would say, I love my uncle Dwarika, I love my sister, I love my family. I do say things. George, if you know me, I do not hold anyone in mind, but I look for peace and closure. And when I keep telling my mother what he has done to me, him and her other brother, she keeps denying me because I'm keep waiting for the moment for her to confront them, and she just wouldn't. She just wouldn't.
Guys, you're watching Right Along here, an emotional story of Asha, a young lady who was sexually molested, allegedly sexually molested as a child, 6 years old, and she vividly recalled everything. And it's a sad story. We have pushback from our uncle here in the chat room who is saying quite the opposite and want to present some sort of evidence to the contrary to her story.
Whatever evidence he wants, let him post. That what? I take pictures with my family members, even with him and my mother when he came to visit to Texas. George, how does that make me a liar? By trying to reach out and trying to get some sort of closure. How does that make me a liar? By loving my family, my mom. I still love my mother, no matter what she did and what she did not do, I still love her. But she just would pick up to these wicked, nasty, evil people. And she would not stand up and face the truth. My stepfather had to tell her, look at you. Asha's been through so much in her life, and she's telling you what her brothers did. Now you all face the shame. Face the shame. It's years I've been telling my mother about her brothers. It's years. George, I'm telling you, I invited this man in my home when my mother visited so that I can get the opportunity to tell her, so she can tell him. And she refused, and I said, let me not spoil her holidays. And I went along again with it. I keep going along and pretending everything is okay. I keep pretending that this never happened. I keep pretending it's a normal life. It's a normal family. But I can't do that anymore. He's disgusting. He used to take his hands and shove it up in me and take his mouth and suck me, George. How would I lie about something like that? Why would I lie about something like that? He's disgusting. My mother caught him one day touching me on my bottom, and she did ask him. I was probably about 15 or 16 when my grandfather died. And every time I pass, he keeps squeezing my butt and hitting me on my butt, and my mother and him fell out for that. But East Indian people like to hide their shame and like to hide their family skeletons. That's what East Indian people do. He can stand up and he can stand on the top of Mount Everest, but he will never get away with what he did to me. He will never be able to deny it for the rest of his life. He can deny it, but it will live with him for what he did, because guess what? Guess what? I remember what you did to me. You're on George chat, and I want to tell you, I remember what you and your brother did to me. And I will never forget. I will never forget what you and your brother did to me.
Um, I'm just lost for words by the emotion, you know, the human emotion. And Ram is still saying that there is a lot of stuff that he could reveal, but he won't. He's waiting on the right moment.
He has nothing. That is the way he talks. He's been harassing a woman and her daughters, and because I stand with the woman, right? He has all that to talk about. If you go on his page that he's talking about, you would see how he posts up nasty things about the woman and her daughters. Let me tell you something, George. I tell you, there are women. I can give you their names via inbox when we finish speak. And you can have a chat with these women about the nasty things he put forward to these women, and they had to put him in their place. Because I'm a child, I was a child, he told me, bring the DNA. How would I bring a DNA after you molest me when I was a child? That was a message he sent to me. He said, bitch, bring your DNA. That's what he said to me. How can I prove that you molest me when I was a child? How can I prove that? I cannot prove that. But my mother can prove that because she knows for years I've been telling her that. And she's the key to all of this, and she would not stand up. She knows it's for years I've been saying this to her. It's not today, George. It's not 2 weeks ago, George. It's not last year, George. It's years I've been saying it to my mother. And she just would not stand up and tell them that she knows. I didn't just get up one morning and decide to accuse somebody of something, George. It's years I've been telling my mother. My sister can vouch for that. My sister Crystal can vouch for that. She has been standing next to me on many occasions when I tell my mother. And my mother keeps denying it.
Asha, have you ever sought counseling or professional help?
No, George, I've never got counseling. I learned to live with it, and I learned to put it aside. Well, I thought I put it aside, but this was the last. When I came and I told my mother again, I'm getting tired, George. I'm 43. And I'm getting tired of taking and carrying around this burden. And I'm no longer going to do that. I'm no longer going to be ashamed or scared of him and his brothers. I'm no longer going to make me feel that I lied or I did something wrong. Because I am going to stand up and I'm going to keep saying it until it sinks in their head and they remember. Because don't tell me they didn't remember. I remember that back room, George. I remember that back room like the back of my hand, George. It was my worst nightmare in my life as a little child growing up. My grandfather used to cut cane, so nobody would be in the house. I'm sorry, George.
Folks are saying that they really think that you need professional help. I think that you do. What is your support system like now?
I have my husband and my children who all support me, who has been supporting me for years. And I have my friends who support me. I have, people that I talk to now that I mean, people didn't know before. Just very few people knew. Very few people I had told about what I have been through in my life. And they can tell you that I'm not lying because they know before all this ever happened 2 weeks ago, I've always been saying it to a few of my very close friends, and they always say to me, you need to confront them, Asha. And I said, no, I'm telling my mother. That's her brothers. Let her tell them. So it's not today, George. It's not today I'm saying it. I'm saying it for years. I'm saying it to my mother. It's for years I'm telling her. I told her in front of my stepfather. I told her in front of my sister. I told her in front of my husband. And she still denies me. She still denies me. So it's not something that just came up yesterday or 2 days ago or 2 weeks ago. It's years I've been telling my mother what her brothers did to me. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Folks, you're watching Right Along. Chatting here with Asha and her very emotional story. Bring I think kind of story that bring tears to anyone's eyes, and, the human reality of it. I have kids as well, and to think that have your kids go through this, it's I don't know what to say. Asha, tell us about your children and what do you tell them now?
Well, I put my kids to sit down. I sit them down and I spoke to them before my uncle came to Texas to visit with my mother. And I told them, be very careful. My older daughter was 19 at the time when I told her what happened. And she said, Mommy, don't worry. We can handle ourselves. And, George, growing up the way I grew up, I'm very skeptic when people hug my children. I'm very skeptic when people are close to my children. I don't like people coming to touch my children. I don't leave my children with anyone. Never left my children a day in their lives with an uncle and aunt. No one. Never in my life have I left my children. My children and I love my children, all my children. We are very close. We have that love and that understanding and relationship with each other that they can come to me and tell me anything. My husband, George, is an amazing, amazing man. I've married to him for the last 19 years, who has given me an awesome life with my children, who I've never hid one day in my life about what I've been through in my life. I've always told him from the day I met him what my life is like and what I've been through, because I said to him, are you sure you want this life with me? I did give him a hard time when I just met him because I wanted to know if he's ready for what I have to rock on this world and what I had to say to him. And my husband accepted me and he loved me for who I am, not for what happened to me, or he didn't pity me, or he was not embarrassed, or he was not ashamed of me. And he gave me a good life, George, a good life.
What would you, what's your plans going forward? What are you planning to do to move ahead of this? Are you planning to seek professional help? Are you using your story to assist others? So what are you doing with your life at the moment?
Well, George, I was supposed to go back to Texas 2 weeks ago with my kids. And I decided, I spoke to one of our radio hosts here, Miss Sharon Felix from Street Talk 91.9. And she aired my story also. And, she gave me so much inspiration to talk about it. I'm not healed yet, George. I know I'm not healed yet. But I felt compelled to start an NGO for abused children and women. Even men too, because there are some young guys who have texted me and messaged me about being abused by their sisters and stuff like that. Women as old as 67 and 72 who remembered being abused by their siblings and by their uncles and aunts and grandpas and stuff. And I am in the process of registering my non-profit organization, NGO, for abused children and women. I'm not going to stop there, even though when I go back to Texas, I would have people here. I want to do some seminars in schools, depend on the age of the children. We will censor it to advise and to give children the the advice of listening to yourself, not to be scared when it is inappropriate for someone to touch you. When you feel uncomfortable, you're not supposed to be scared to speak out. Um, so I want to do. We are doing seminars in schools. We are going to do seminars for women here. I'll be here for a while.
Okay.
So that's what I plan to do with it. I never intended. I did not even know that this would have reached this far, George. I was hurt and I had enough, and I did my video, and I never in my wildest dream think it would have gone viral.
Well, there's a lot of good people that's out there that saw your video, and I'm sure that they're gonna continue to reach out to you to assist you. One recommendation that I'm seeing in the chat room here is counseling. A lot of people is requesting that you seek professional help, because you have so much emotion. You even told me of the time you felt like committing suicide. Like, all of this stuff would keep playing in your head over and over again. So
Yes, George, I know that. It's something I haven't dealt with yet, and I think I'm looking for closure from them, and I know I wouldn't get it. As one professional person had said to me, Asha, you are looking for closure and you would not get it. If you think you're going to get an apology from them, you're not going to get it. So you need to move on and don't look for an apology from them. But I don't think it's so much them. I think it's my mother. I think I need her to tell them. I think she needs to stand up and say, I know you all are lying. Asha's been saying this to me for years. Why would I carry about this burden on me, George, for so many years? Why would I carry this burden and keep saying it to my mother year after year after year? Why would I do it? Why would I, if I'm lying?
let me just say something, and I'll make a statement right here. What's his name? Ramkisoon, or whatever his name is.
That's his fake profile.
That's his fake profile. Now,
yeah.
Mr. Ramkisoon, I find that it's weird that you will come on here and try to further victimize Asha when the story is clear, concise. I think that if you had something to tell, something to justify, you wouldn't create a fake profile and come under here and try to terrorize her even more. So I don't think that I need to hear or need any further information from you. It's very clear to me and everyone else what's happening. So I think that you should really apologize at the least, for what you've done to her life. At this point, she's grown, she's married, she has a support system. But you as a man, you would live, if that what was done, you would live for this for the rest of your life. If that was actually done to young 6-year-old Asha. So at the end of the day, you have to answer to that. I don't know, Asha, do you feel victimized? Do you feel victimized daily by people coming on and trying to rehash all this stuff and try to call you a liar? Do you feel victimized by them?
No, George. I don't feel victimized by anyone calling me a liar, because I know the truth. And God knows the truth. So I don't have to I don't have to feel bad, and I don't have to feel victimized. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. But I know the truth, and God knows the truth, and that's all that matters in the world to me. And my mother knows the truth too. She knows it. But for whatever reason, she would not come forward and say it. She would not tell them. It don't even hurt me anymore when he says I'm lying, or any one of them says I'm lying. Because they can't hurt me anymore, George. They can't hurt me anymore for what it did to me. I've carried that burden for 30-something years. And I can no longer carry that burden, John. No longer carry it. I'm done. I can't carry this burden anymore. It's not mine to carry.
I think it's that time that I I think I heard enough. I think enough was said. I think that Asha, I would like to say thank you for coming on and sharing your story with us. I appreciate you. I appreciate your strength to come on the program here, and know that there's a lot of people who care about you, who is standing up for you. Know that there's a lot of people who loves you. I'm sure that your family, your husband, your kids would always be there for you. And seek professional help, because I think that you need it.
I will, George. I will. Thank you so very much.
All right, thank you, Asha. I appreciate your time.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, guys. It's stories like this that that makes you think and just hold the young kids that your kids close to you. And for parents, I'm hearing this story over and over and over again. Parents who don't listen to their kids when they report of abuse and stuff like that. So parents, let's make today the day that we listen to our kids, listen to our children. And I thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being a part of it. We appreciate you. I'll catch you again tomorrow. Thank you.